Arteta out. A phrase that I didn't expect to hear again, or at least not this soon, after the rise that Arsenal has come from the depths of the COVID season under Mikel Arteta's first tenure at the club. And trust me, back then it did get quite bad. However, I've seen a few posts online, on Twitter, on YouTube, by Arsenal fans becoming more and more concerned about Arteta. And despite the term Arteta out may seem insane, and in my opinion it is, there is a true feeling within the Arsenal fan base that they are getting this feeling that maybe he's not the man to get them over the line. Despite what has been, let's be honest, 2 great seasons for Arsenal, it's come with no silverware. And at the end of the day, when it comes to a big club, which Arsenal of course is, trophies speak for themselves. And unlike Mikel Arteta that came out in an interview before the game against Crystal Palace saying, well, keep in mind, we have won 2 charity shields. Frankly, for a club in Arsenal stature, that's not really something that should be really held into any regard whatsoever. People do forget that Arteta did indeed win the FA Cup in his first season with Arsenal, and that trophy is what really gave him the backing throughout that entire awful patch. I remember very well when Burnley beat Arsenal at the Emirates with that 1-0 own goal from Aubameyang, and it was during that time Pedro Xhaka was just doing something stupid every single week, and it was a complete mess. They were losing at home on a consistent basis. Arteta would have been sacked at that stage if it was not for that FA Cup, and there's no doubt in my mind about that, or anyone's mind really. Arsenal right now, despite last year almost winning every single game, and because of Man City being Man City, did not win a league, and Arsenal really should have won the league title in most seasons. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case. With this year, with City being completely off the boil, and let's be honest, probably won't be winning the title this year, this is such a massive opportunity missed if Arsenal fail to win the league again. And it's not only the fact they are failing to really get over the line in some games, it's also the manner of even the games that they are winning. We all know about the memes online about Arsenal being compared to Stoke City due to their reliance, and it is now it's feeling to be a reliance on set pieces and corners particularly, which may seem unfair to say, but the stats say that this is the case. Arsenal, of course, have scored more goals by corners by some distance to second place in the entirety of the league. And as we saw in the game last week against Everton, that if they don't score from a set piece and they play against a team which is expecting to just sit deep and defend, it's really hard for them to break them down. And especially a team like Everton, which is really well known as a Sean Dyche team with pretty good defenders at the back from heading the ball, when they rely on crossing the ball in the box a ton of times, well, James Tarkowski and Branfrey is more than good enough at just dealing with that all day. Of course, losing to Bournemouth, losing to Newcastle on top of that as well earlier in the months. And the issue is Arsenal, the entire DNA is based on a beautiful football, great passing moves, and despite maybe not being the team which is most efficient at getting results, they will absolutely be the entertainers of the league. Now it seems the other way around, where they are now, as well, other people have compared him to, a Jose Mourinho type of team, which is based on physicality. Not many players in the Arsenal team is below the height of 6 foot, it appears. And it seems to be a bit of a name that they want to aim at here, to having tall, physical players throughout the entire pitch, which is, it makes sense. However, it seems like it's gone the other way, where it's much more into this pure efficiency, getting wins no matter what, in any means necessary, which is fine if it works, but when it doesn't work, especially for a team like Arsenal, there's a mismatch of DNA there and what the fans really expect, which is causing this confusion, where Arsenal just wants to win the league no matter what. The fans just want to win the trophy no matter what. And if they win it by any means necessary, which is fine, it works, but when it's not working, it even creates more confusion. Comment down below your thoughts on Mikel Arteta. Do you think he's a man to get Arsenal over the line? Tell me down below your thoughts. The idea of Mikel Arteta and Arteta out, I've seen it around a lot more often now. I'm seeing a lot more frustration than I saw beforehand, and I get it. But realistically, I think Arsenal fans, some may kind of forget where they really came from 2-3 years ago, and the fact that they were not even close to even being in a title race. And realistically, Arsenal should have won the league last year as well. if it was of City being insane, which that is something that Arsenal and Liverpool fans can also relate to. So comment down below your thoughts, like and subscribe. And Vizeh Designs, Christmas sales is almost over, so if you do want to buy a print for Christmas, I've also got a brand new Emirates Stadium print as well, and a ton of other prints as well. Then go and check it out. Code Xmas for 15% off all items. Link is down below, top of the description. And let's talk about it. Okay, so let me give you an inside view into the mind of an Arsenal fan, where I went onto a forum and I found these comments here by Arsenal fans on a pretty well-respected comment section. And this is the following. We just don't have the attacking players to win the league. All the investment in the wrong areas has cost us. Why did we chase Marino all summer to then not play him? Leo Trossard was a shrewd signing, but is he enough to win the league? Martinelli has stagnated for 2-3 years now, and if anything, is not that dangerous player we thought he'll be, or even was. Jesus, not good enough and not any threat whatsoever. Havertz for all the off-the-ball stuff again, not the guy to score the goals. And Sterling, well, that gamble isn't paying off and can't even get a game. Oh, and a 17-year-old off the bench to shake things up. While we have a 35 million midfielder on loan, we sold Smith Rowe. We need a serious injection of good quality attacking players, and I fear that we don't get the recruitment right this time. We can miss a golden opportunity where we could take advantage. Only take 2 to 3 years of not winning, and genuine world-class players like Saliba, Gabriel, and dare I say Saka might think about moving on to challenge some silverware. When I speak to Arsenal fans about the current situation in the club, the main frustration they have is on the left-hand side and just the genuine lack of attacking threat they have. Marino and Martinelli are the main two names you hear quite a lot. You may hear some frustration as well about the likes of a Kai Havertz, about the fact that he isn't really a clinical striker. And he isn't. And you can't really blame him for that either. He's done very well since joining Arsenal, much better than what people thought he would do. However, is there that conversation of, is he the man for that step up to actually win something? The reality is two things. Number one, Arsenal are way too over-reliant on Bukayo Saka. And number two, they are also way too over-reliant on set pieces and corners. Of course, Martin Odegaard has been a miss for them, and as we saw in that game against Crystal Palace just last night, he has an incredible technical ability to open up a defence, something that they don't really have in their entire club other than Saka. And that is a massive, massive loss for them, and now that he's back, they should be playing more like Arsenal again with a much more fluid style of play. And by no means is their form right now even really bad. Since the last month or so, they've won 6 games and they've drawn 2. The 2 draws were against Fulham away and Everton at home. And as we saw, to be a top level Premier League title winning team, you've almost got to be flawless. I mean, we saw that last year between Arsenal and City, or Liverpool and City. Just by dropping points once is enough for you to lose a title once you've reached past Christmas. So it asks more questions, really. Palace away this weekend is always a very tough one, it seems, and it can be a hiccup for Arsenal as well. And then they've got some more winnable games before the derby at home to Spurs, and of course Villa are home straight after that. And has there been injuries? Yes, there has been injuries, but the issue is every single team has injuries, and that's just the way they have to deal with it. City right now, you've heard many people talk about injuries as well, and people may not care because it's City, but they do have injuries, obviously. And keep in mind, Arteta, this is now his 5th year. He's been in the job for 5 years now at Arsenal. So again, that does ask the question of, okay, when should there be a trophy? And how long should it be until it becomes almost a real concern? If Arsenal wins no trophies this year, would you still be happy with Arteta in a job? Well, if they compete and they make it to a final and they're in the title race, but they just miss out again, then you may deal with it for another year. But how long until you keep dealing with it with another year until it's an actual problem? And that's a tough one because Arsenal has come such a long way, and Arteta is, of course, such a loved figure there. And now that the style of football they're seeing now has now changed a bit from what it used to be 2-3 years ago. It was a lot more attacking-minded, a lot more fluid. Now it's a lot more structured and over-reliant on Saka and also reliant on corners. Another statement I saw here by another Arsenal fan saying, at what point do more people start asking serious questions of the manager, especially if we win nothing this season, rather than repeatedly highlighting so-called weak areas of the squad that needs addressing, no doubt, with even more money next summer? He spent 100 million plus on Havertz and Jesus up front, but we are blunt up front, and so the checkbook will need to come out again. It's as if he's not accountable for the £700 million into the project, and if things go wrong it's because of other factors and he's still learning on a job 5 years in. It's quite unbelievable really. Meanwhile, ahead of him in the table are two managers with less than 6 months Premier League experience. These are the views of actual Arsenal fans, and it's up to you to decide if you think they're mental or not. And maybe because of football these days has become a lot more into win now or that's it. Like, I can get why there's this kind of feeling that the beauty of football is being lost on people, because it is really about success and nothing, which, I mean, I can't understand that opinion because I'm a Burnley fan and we won't win anything ever. But Arsenal, I think, as a club, when was it? I mean, they've not won the league for, near 2 decades now, or maybe it is actually been 2 decades now, pretty much. So, again, they should be winning a title soon, and this year should have been their year to do so if they were in the same form that they should be expected to be in. Now, right now on the table, they're not really massively far off. They're still third. And they are 6 points behind Liverpool. However, Liverpool do have a game in hand. But there is a way at Everton that is usually a tough place to go to. They're not far off. They really are not far off. But keep in mind, City are going through what appears to be the worst season of their life. Again, they've won 1 in the last 11 games. And City are only 3 points off Arsenal, still. Which is kind of insane to say. So comment down below your thoughts about Arsenal and kind of how do you see them. And can you see the idea of why Arteta is getting the critique that he has? Now, I get why people may say, yeah, but you can cut the left Liverpool. They thought they would never replace him. They got on a slot from Netherlands, and hey, look, they're top of the league. So I get why people may not take that as an actual problem, because there's always someone out there for everyone, right? So comment down below your thoughts. I'll see you guys next time.